And guess what? I went to the library and I got the book, The Milkmakers by Gail Gibbons. So, let's take a look at this book, because we are talking about Reading Rainbow after all, wink wink, and let's see how this lines up. I read this book and it turns out that Reading Rainbow actually left out a ton of stuff when they adapted it for the show. So I'm going to point out some of the things that they left out. Okay, the first page is pretty much the same. When they mentioned that other animals make milk too, in the book they show a picture of a goat, a sheep, and a reindeer. We don't see those on the show, but instead, LeVar mentions in the opening scene that there are lots of other animals that make milk too, like armadillos, porcupines, bats, even whales. Okay, then they show the different types of cows, that's the same. And the milk is food for the baby, yep, that's the same. Okay, this page right here, they completely left out. They used the picture, but they didn't use any of the text. It says, a few months after her calf is born, a cow is bred again to have another calf. She'll be pregnant for 9 months. 2 months before her second calf is due, the farmer stops milking her, so she stops producing milk. She is dry. When her new calf is born, she makes milk again. Okay, so that's all new to me. Then on the next page, when they talk about what cows eat during the spring and summer, it says she eats about 50 pounds of food and drinks about 15 gallons of water a day. And all the stuff about the cold months, they used all that. But I will point out that in the picture, there's these little words that point to different parts of the picture. There's grains, there's silage, and in parentheses it says pickled grass, and hay, which is dried grass. I guess if grass is kept in a silo for a certain amount of time, it starts to ferment a little bit, so I imagine if a cow eats silage, it would taste a little bit pickly. Okay, here we go. This is what I wanted to find out. The food eaten by a dairy cow is tough and coarse. 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 And it is hard to digest. And Google says that coarse means rough or loose in texture or grain. So in this page here, they only use the first sentence. There's a lot more here. It continues, so the cow has a special stomach. It has 4 parts. When the cow eats, she chews just enough to swallow her food. It goes to the first 2 stomachs, the rumen and the reticulum. When the cow is full, she rests. And they show little diagrams of how this works, which we didn't see either. Next page it says, then the cow coughs up balls of food called cud. She chews her cud thoroughly this time, and then swallows it again. It now goes to the 3rd and 4th stomachs, the omasum and the abemasum, where it is finally digested. Yeah, so they didn't use that page at all in Reading Rainbow. I wonder if maybe they left these details out because they were afraid it might gross out the kids who were watching or listening. Possibly. And then, of course, next page, they talk about how some of the digested food goes into the cow's bloodstream, and there's the udder where the milk is made. Udder has 4 nipples or teats. Milk will come out of her teats. Remember all that. Next page, they use the picture, but they skip the text again. It says, it is time to milk a dairy cow when her udder is full. She must be milked once in the morning and once in the evening. If she isn't milked twice a day, her udder will become sore and swollen. Ooh, interesting. In the when Weston Woods did that little animated short based on Pete Seeger's story song The Foolish Frog, one of my all-time favorite shorts from the Weston Woods animated series, there's a part of the story where the cows were saying, "Where's everybody? We're supposed to be milked. It's getting very uncomfortable." And so that's why it would get uncomfortable for the cows. Okay, that makes sense now. Next we have the page about cows being milked by hand. Page after that, the milking machines. Today, most farmers use milking machines, which are quicker and cleaner. First, the udder must be washed. Ooh, okay. So that must be where LeVar got that from. First, the udder must be washed. It's kind of interesting, though, they mention washing the udder on the page with the milking machine as opposed to the page with milking by hand, because the scene where LeVar was getting ready to milk by hand was when he mentioned washing the teats from the milk makers. And then it says a small amount of milk is stripped by hand, that is, pulled from the teats to begin milking. That's kind of like what LeVar and Randy did in the milking parlor, where they were priming the cow, like getting it ready. So it can either be called priming or stripping. Alright, I'm looking at this milking machine again. I wonder if that thing that I thought looked like a straw is supposed to be some kind of knob or lever that you twist or pull or something to, like, I don't know, attach it or loosen it or turn it on or off, who knows. I don't remember seeing anything like that on the show, though, like in the live action footage. Yeah, I'm looking at this scene again with LeVar, and I don't really see anything like the piece that they represent in the book just yet. I just see all the hoses with the suction cups at the end. But you know what? I wonder if it's supposed to be some little metal piece that's designed to kind of hold the hoses in place to keep them from getting tangled up. That could be it, possibly. Okay, now back to the book. After the milking machine, the milk moves through a pipeline to a cooling tank in a separate room. The tank keeps the milk cool below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. If the milk stayed warm, it might spoil. Ah, here we got another new page. Some farmers keep a daily record of how much milk each cow makes. The average cow makes 5 gallons a day, then the farmer sterilizes and cleans everything he has used after each milking. Now the milk is ready to take a trip. Yeah, I know that part. Big shiny truck comes to the farm. The driver takes a sample of milk to be tested later. Then the milk's pumped into an insulated truck. The tank truck carries the milk to the dairy. Now on the show, this next page just goes, when the trunk arrives to the dairy, the milk is pumped into a big refrigerated storage tank. But there's a lot more in the book here. Instead, it says, when the truck arrives at the dairy, the workers are ready to begin. The milk sample is tested in a laboratory for butterfat content. Butterfat is a part of cream, flavor, odor, and bacteria. Then the milk is pumped into a big refrigerated storage tank. Okay, next page. Inside the dairy, there are many big, noisy machines. Milk's moved from the storage tank into a clarifier to be cleaned. Okay, remember that. It says the milk in the clarifier has come from many dairy farms, and it doesn't all have the same amount of cream, so it is blended until it's all the same. This is called standardizing. Okay, here we go. The milk moves on to be pasteurized, which means it's heated to kill any disease-causing bacteria. So it's disease-causing bacteria. It's bacteria that can cause disease. Got it. It says, this also helps to make the milk stay fresher longer. During pasteurization, the milk is heated up to 161 degrees Fahrenheit for at least 15 seconds, and then quickly cooled again. Now, the next page of the homogenizer is almost the same, but they left out a little piece here. The milk's homogenized, forced through tiny openings, we got that. This breaks up the fatty globules of the cream to give every drop of milk the same amount. This part's a little confusing. It's like, on the show, it seems like they're saying it breaks up the fatty globules to give every drop of milk the same amount. It's like the same amount of fat? But here in the book, they're saying that it breaks up the fatty globules of the cream to give every drop of milk the same amount. So maybe it means like every drop of milk the same amount of cream. Because they skipped the part earlier that mentioned cream, so I guess they thought they could get away with leaving out the cream part on this page. Ooh, now we got all the packaging machines. I wish they would have showed this round part on the show with the cartons going around. That would have been cool to see that animated. They show the flat cartons, and then the cartons being opened, and the cartons being sealed on the bottom, and then being filled and sealed and dated. And the date does not say September 10th like it does on the show. It just looks like random scribbles. So Reading Rainbow must have added that. Okay, next page, we do see the picture of the guy with the crates of milk inside the cold room, but they skip the text again. Then the containers are put into cases and stored in a big refrigerated room. After the dairy workers are through with their work, they clean and sterilize all the equipment. And there's the delivery trucks. We got that part. Almost over. Trucks make deliveries to many stores. There's actually 3 different pictures there. There's one that says City Deli and then some other letter after that. I assume it's a C, like City Delicatessen. And, yep, Covey's General Store. Not Boz Coffee's, just Covey's. And also a supermarket. The supermarket just looks like a plain concrete building with a loading dock. I wish I could have seen what that supermarket looked like. That would have been cool. See what it looked like on the inside. Milk is placed in coolers ready for us to buy and enjoy. And that's it. And there's one final page that they left out, listing milk and other dairy products. There's like a couple dozen different products, and they have like a description underneath. I won't go through all those, but here we have raw milk, fortified milk, skim milk, half and half, ice cream, butter, evaporated milk, eggnog, yogurt, cream cheese, powdered milk, UHT milk made by ultra-high temperature pasteurization, it says. It does not need refrigeration. Never heard of that before. Cottage cheese, buttermilk, sour cream, chocolate milk, cheese, and cream. And that is the Milk Makers. And wow, this particular copy that I have here is from the Columbia Public Library, and this copy copy is so old that it still has the little slot on the back cover that they used to put the stamp card in before they had the barcode scanners. So they left that little slot in and they just put the barcode sticker right over top of it. Interesting.